Okay, we are going to look at a pedigree today. Now, pedigree is really just a family tree, but it allows you to show some other information on it as well. So in a pedigree, what you'd use is a circle to represent a female and a square to represent a male. You can show then other traits in it, such as if there is a trait that you're trying to look at specifically, maybe it's a disease. You could fill in the disease to say that the person has the disease by filling in, let's say, the box. Or if they're a carrier for the disease, perhaps you fill in part of the box. It really depends on what you're trying to show through your pedigree. So let's take a look at a pedigree where, let's see, we have a mom, we have a dad, and they have 3 kids. The first child is going to be a girl, and then they have a boy, and then they have another girl. Now let's say that we want to look at a disease, and this disease is going to be recessive. Okay? So that means that you have to have 2 of the recessive alleles in order to show the trait. Now, let's say that the boy here has the disease, and let's say this is not sex-linked, so this is just a normal recessive disease on an autosomal chromosome. Can we piece together what the traits are for the other people in our pedigree? Okay, so let's use F to represent the disease. So we know the individual, if this is a recessive disease, is little f, little f. Now, what can that tell us about the other individuals? Well, we know that the other individuals do not have the disease. So that means that they must each have at least one big F. So this is where you have to use your knowledge of Punnett squares to piece this together. Now, we know that the child has 2 little f's, the boy, so he had to get a little f from each parent. So we know that both parents are heterozygous for the disease. So they're both carriers. They don't show the disease, but they carry an allele for the disease. Now, if both parents are big F, little f, and we have these 2 daughters, we know the 2 daughters have big Fs. We don't know if their second letter, though, is a big F or a little f. We won't know that until we see any offspring or if we do some genetic tests. So let's say that we want to show that one of the daughters got married. We can add that by demonstrating a line here, and then we could add the children. So let's say that they have a girl and a boy. Now, sometimes we can show that they have a carrier for that they are a carrier for the trait by representing a dashed line. So let's say that we want to fill that in. Now let's say that the boy is also going to be have the disease. So we know he is little f, which tells us that both these parents must be heterozygous. So the dad must be big F, little f, and the mom, we now know this is not a question mark, but is a little f, big F, little f. So now if we want to fill in the carriers, we can fill in the squares halfway. So we know that now the grandparents are carriers, and we know that both of these parents are carriers for the trait as well. Now, the daughter from the first parents and the daughter from the second parents, we're not sure if they're